How are you guys doing today? My name is Anima, and today we've got a post-commentated Pokemon ORAS Wi-Fi battle for your viewing pleasure, this time against GRAUI. I'm sorry I haven't a hope in holy hell of pronouncing your name properly. Maybe you should get a better name. I'm kidding. Keep your name. It's fine. Completely suitable. It's okay. It's a nice name. It's lovely. Anyway, yes, this is a battle. It is a post-commentated one indeed, and we've got a pretty interesting little team situation here. I'm using a UU team given to me by the magnificent Phoenix Master. I don't know why I feel the need to add like a load of ones, but I just like it. It just makes me excited. It's just fun, you know, live a little. And I really like this team. It's super nice. We're just practicing with it. So far I've had 2 games with it, and I like it. I like it a lot. It's pretty fun to use. You have to be ballsy though. You have to be like, you have to predict a lot. There's like, oh, it's like a little hard. It's very offensive, which I enjoy, and I like it very much. So, using Mega Beedrill, we're using a specially offensive Salamence with Defog and stuff on Ting. We've got a choice banded Heracross, which is just lovely. Guts. Bellissimo. We've got a Porygon 2. I love this Porygon 2. I won't have anybody saying a bad thing about it. It's the best spread I've literally ever seen on a Porygon 2. It's brilliant. You know, like, I'm not like a horribly technical battler like myself in terms of like EV spreads and speed creeping. I have all the respect for people who do that and who know their speed tiers and who can apply like the nice EVs to be able to live certain hits and do this. I really appreciate these aspects, even though I find it kind of hard to put them in practice myself. It's more just the effort than anything. It's time constraints and stuff and things like that. I don't really have the time to do it, so being able to use a team like this with all this shit like all considered is just, oh, it's really, really nice. Anyway, so we've got the best Porygon 2 with T-Wave support, really, really rad. We've got Nidoqueen, awesome, our Rocker, Sheer Force, Life Orb, nothing more needs to be said, and Heliolisk, who is, the Bay. It's the mascot, what can I say? Anyway, Grau's got a pretty, like, oh my goodness, this team would have sickened me in times past. Still does, actually, but don't know what I'm saying. It's very, very bulky and scary. The Cresselia was not fun, nor was the Umbreon, actually. The Empoleon and Amoonguss, oh boy. But we can basically look at these two and assume at least that one of the Darmanitan or the Flygon are Scarfed. But without further ado, let's hit play and you guys will see precisely what I saw. Oh my Christ, I keep forgetting the like button disclaimer. There will be a question of the day at the end of the video. I'll remind you the like button is a thing that exists. What you do with it is completely up to you, or you can be a complete and utter rebel and hit that like button for me right now. So, let's begin. GRAUI! GRAUI! Out comes Libel the Flygon. I kind of believe this thing is choice scarfed at this stage. Either way, this is a free Mega Evolution for us. We are going to do just that and hit the Protect just to guarantee ourselves a nice and safe transaction. This Flygon, really have no idea what it's running, but at this point we're still guessing the Scarf. We're going to switch out here because we don't want to get bollocked by an Earthquake with our 40 defense. We really can't take that very well. So we're going to go into Trojan Trace the Levitate, which is just genius in my opinion. But my opponent does reveal the Roost, and then goes for a U-turn. So we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this thing cannot be choice scarfed. It is in fact Life Orb. So out comes Bonaparte. I'm sorry if I'm saying all these things wrong, as I go for an Ice Beam. Didn't want to over-predict at this stage in case my opponent wanted to get fancy. So it's going to do nothing, of course. Quad resisted and all that jazz, and Podion being bulky as hell. We're going to go into Fork because I expected the rocks or the knockoff, and yeah, we do take the knockoff. We lose our choice band, which is going to nerf us a bit, but Heracross is still strong, so that's pretty cool. We're going to go for the knockoff. We get a crit here. It does so much damage, and I did predict my opponent to go for the Roost, so I'm going to stay in and go for a close combat. This is very nice. We're just going to get rid of this Flygon pretty much immediately, which is super, super cool. And yes, down it goes, which is honestly just absolutely splendid. But out comes Gear 4. Now, this thing's got to be the choice Scarf. We've got to switch into Red Moon here. because I wanted to get the Intimidate off. I predicted a U-turn or a Flare Blitz, but my opponent predicts this very nicely, goes for a Rock Slide. That's going to smack my Salamence in its little dragon face, so I can't stay in here and take another Rock Slide. We're going to go into Trojan because I assume this thing is locked in, and tracing Sheer Force is an interesting thing that hasn't happened to me very much. Anyway, this Rock Slide is going to be pretty much negligible, and Gear 4 is forced out. Goes back into Bonaparte as I predict this, switching out and going into Handsome the Heliolist because I can just zap this thing to pieces and that would be fine and dandy. Empoleon's got a crown on its face. Its beak is made of a crown. I wonder if that's awkward. Imagine it eating spaghetti. Its like face is the fork, so it'd be a bit awkward. Anyway, we're going to go for the Volt Switch as 1-up comes out to absorb the blow very, very, very nicely. We're going to get the hell out of there and go into RuPaul, the Nidoqueen. If you can think of a better name for Nidoqueen, then more power to you, to be honest. But RuPaul is just a god, goddess, god, both of those things, or those things. We're going to go for the Stealth Rock here as the Cresselia comes out because I want to punish these switches. I'm really suspect of this Empoleon at this stage because I didn't see any leftovers, and I really have no idea what it could be running. It does have knockoff with no leftovers, so I'm kind of thinking it might actually be Assault Vest. But spook of all spooks, this moon bastard decides to set up a Calm Mind, and this just makes my ovaries quiver in fear. We're going to take this Psyshock on the face, nose, duck, and go for the T-Wave, paralyze this thing. I don't have any other statuses on my team, apart from like Sludge Wave, but it's not going to happen because Sheer Force, so yeah, this is the only thing we can do. And the opponent is going to go for Ice Beam, so right now we can assume that it's Calm Mind, Psyshock, Ice Beam, and some sort of healing move. We're going to aggressively go into Beedrill as my opponent is forced out into 1-up. So this is nice. We do predict the switch very nicely, get the Beedrill in safe and sound. Every time I switched in this Beedrill I had a minor heart attack because I was always going for like a double switch or predicting a switch out and blah de blah. Now I didn't want to get spored, so I go for the U-turn, go into Trojan, trace the Generator, which is just jokes and lol, to be honest, and we're gonna get put to sleep. I'd rather Trojan be put to sleep than anybody else at this point, so that's pretty fine and dandy. We are gonna switch out here, kind of predicting the switch, not really sure into what, but I thought Nidoqueen would be a good matchup against most things, but sadly he is gonna go into Gear 4, and this thing and its eyebrows and smile and blank cold dead eyes are gonna come out, and I really don't want to take a Flare Blitz. We're gonna go into Red Moon. I don't really feel as though we'll survive this because Sheer Force is so real with Darmanitan's beastly attack. This is gonna take us out at our poor range of health, and Red Moon is gonna go down, and this bloody thing is gonna continue to smile over my dead body. It's really, really disconcerting. We're gonna trace Sheer Force again. Wow, cool. Which kind of horribly stops Tri-Attack from being cool, so not really very good, and out comes Bonaparte as we try to burn off a turn of sleep. I don't want this thing going for Defog, and I really thought the whole time that this was a Defog. I really thought it was going to go for Defog right now, but my opponent goes for Scald, so I'm really thinking this is an Assault Vest Empoleon. Yeah, I actually predicted him to stay in at this point because I have been predicting all of his switches so far, so this is why I just decided to go for close combat, but he makes a pretty dangerous switch into Tsukiyomi, which is a good play on his behalf, especially because it has the Rocky Helmet, so with Rocky Helmet and Burn, Fork is going to get taken down, my magnificent Fork. This has been a Fork-themed match, I don't really know why. Either way, we're going to go into the pain, and Tsukiyomi is going to run the fuck away as I go for, I believe, a U-turn, yes. I do have Swords Dance on this Beedrill, so we're just waiting for the right time to go for that. But as long as the Darmanitan is still there, we can't go for Swords Dance and just destroy everything. We can't because it's too dangerous. So we're gonna go for the Sludge Wave here, and 1-up is finally gonna go down. It was a bit of like a mindfuck going for Sludge Waves or Earth Powers with the presence of Empoleon, you know, lurking around. So we're going to go for the Earth Power, and this thing is going to miraculously survive and go for the knockoff. Still have no fucking idea what item this is. I don't really know if Earth Power would be an Oko or not, so I'll go for Sludge Wave because I think this guy might want to preserve this thing as death fodder. So I predicted Cresselia coming in, but that overprediction is going to cost me my Nidoqueen to a crit skull. Don't really think it mattered though. We're going to go for the U-turn here and just destroy the bloody penguin. What is with the pointy... I really like Empoleon, but why does it have like pointy undersides? What the 3 spikes on the very painful clapping? Shouldn't do that. So we're going to U-turn into Handsome, and my opponent is going to go into Gear 4. I want to keep my Heliolisk around because it's Bay, so we're going to go into Trojan. And yeah, again with the Sheer Force, this is fucking useless. So my opponent does predict the switch, or basically just goes for the right move, really. That would have destroyed Heliolisk, but so would have Flare Blitz, so... And the superpower is gonna do a good amount of damage, but thanks to the drops, we're gonna definitely be able to take the next one. I'm not really sure I agree with going for superpower, though. I think Flare Blitz would have really finished me off, but perhaps they were conscientious of their HP. So out comes this thing. I can't really touch it, so I'm gonna make the aggressive switch into the pain. Again, this was risky, because if he'd just gone for Psyshock just one of these times, it would have been so bad, but I just go for a Sword Stance, and luckily for me, it does get fully paralyzed. So I'm really thinking this is going to kill. No, it's not. It lives on, genuinely on 1, no Focus Sash, it just lives on 1. I think that was a poor roll, or it has good defensive investment. But either way, we're going to take this Psyshock with our dear friend Handsome and go for a Thunderbolt, finally killing this Moon bastard. You know, Hacks is just like, it really balances itself out. If you get really badly haxed at one point, you're probably gonna get some hacks later on. You know, it's just that kind of thing. So we're gonna go for a Hyper Voice here on Shadow, and it's gonna go for a Wish. You can guess what is about to occur. Pain and suffering unparalleled. It's a fucking Umbreon. It's got Wish and Protect and Leftovers. We do get the para. Doesn't matter that it has Synchronized because we are an electric type. We did want to go for the Paralysis and things to, you know, try and slow this bloody thing down. Now we're going to go into the pain. As Heliolisk goes down, go for a U-turn, try and cripple this bloody thing, but it's just not going to work, and what you're about to witness is a series of just horrifying stalling. Basically, I need my Beedrill to be able to kill this thing, and I need everyone at decentish health to kill the Darmanitan with recoil. So, yeah, it's really not good, My saving grace with the Darmanitan is that it can, if it goes for superpower, my Beedrill can actually take it, so it's totally fine. Now we're going to be dossing around with the Ice Beam and the Tri-Attack and the stuff and things, as this thing does get fully paralyzed a bunch of times. It really doesn't matter, though. We're going to go for the T-Wave just in case anything janky happens. And my opponent is going to go for Foul Plays. They're not doing anything, but they're trying to catch the Beedrill. And I was really losing my mind with this. I was just like, please, just give up, please, oh my god. Yeah, so we're going for Ice Beams after it went for the Heal Bell. Now, my only plan here, genuinely, was to try and get the freeze. My opponent is trying to play some game here by going for Protect and Foul Play, trying to confuse me and bait me into going into my Beedrill. There's one Foul Play right there, and it's going to go for a Protect now. And at some point it goes for 2 Foul Plays in a row, and it's just very confusing. So, also there's like a PP battle here, but we finally get the freeze. So we're going to go into the pain. My opponent kind of chokes here, went for the Heal Bell instead of Foul Play. They actually got the first turn Thor, so yeah, it would have been pretty decent for them if they'd just gone for the Foul Play. But I'm going to go into the pain here, predicting a Protect or a Wish, and at that point my opponent does in fact just forfeit. So that kind of worked out pretty nicely. So nicely that I got to sleep well that night, because sometimes stall makes me upset. It does. Unnecessary stall does. If you gotta do it, you gotta do it. It's totally fine. But in that situation, just give up, man. Just fucking give up. Admittedly, if I'd gone into like Beedrill at any point, it would have been very tragic. But I didn't, so yeah, I didn't until I had the freeze. Ha! Skill is more important than luck. Ha! God bless Pokemon. Anyway, folks, today's question of the day is sleep or eat. I know these two things are essential to our survival, but which one do you prefer? This is difficult. They're getting harder now, the questions of the day. So making you choose between your favorite bodily needs. Wow. Difficulty. I really, oh my god, it's so hard actually. I think a previous me would have said sleep. At uni, I just chronically didn't eat. The only thing I'd eat would be like Domino's. And like food at my friends' houses and stuff. I wouldn't like scrounge off of them or anything. We'd eat food together, so it was okay. But that's mostly that. I was so skinny, like horribly skinny. I mean, I'm you know, I'm not exactly like big now, but like I was so skinny. You can't tell because I'm wearing like a heavy jumper, but like, oh man, Jesus. But that was a me of a few years ago. Now, I would probably... I really like eating. I'd pick eat. I'd pick eat. But I love sleep. I'm really good at sleeping. If you ever go on Reddit, go to r sleepy Asians, and you will see countless sleeping Asians. It's a phenomenon. I don't know what it is. I think we're just capable of sleeping everywhere. I don't really understand it. But like, it's true though. I could really feasibly sleep almost anywhere. Probably. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate your viewership and support very much so, especially when you hit the like button. It really, really does make my day. It really, really helps. It's just motivating to see the number go up, really. It really, really is. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.